Elder is the deep man back for the Buccaneers. And we're underway. And the kick will be touched at the 1-yard line by Frank Pillow, a rookie. Pillow recovers and gets it out to about the 18-yard line. So that could have been disaster. Gary Richard making the tackle for the Packers. So Vinny Testaverde, still looking for his first win as a pro, will go against this Green Bay Packer defense. They've had some changes up front. Blaze Winter will start at left defensive end for Sean Patterson. Jerry Boyarsky and Robert Brown up front. 4 linebackers. Tim Harris is the one to watch it outside. We'll give you the secondary after this play. First down. Testaverde completes the pass to Ron Hall, his tight end. He's short of a first down as he brings it out just shy of the 25. Dorsey on the tackle. The secondary, Mark Lee and the veteran Dave Brown at the corners. Ken Stills and Mark Murphy are the safeties for the Packers. Testaverde sacked only once last week, but threw 5 interceptions. And Danny threw only 6 last year and didn't play the full year, so he's getting up there.
Well, and what Ray Perkins wants out of Vinny to start this game is a very consistent performance. Don't take a lot of deep shots. You're not going to get a lot of deep plays against the Green Bay Packers. What you got to do is be real patient with your offense. Take what they give you. A good example is on that very first play, just a simple pass over the middle to the tight end.
Jerry Boyarsky's out of there, and Nate Hill replaces him. So already the depleted line of the Packers has hurt some more.
That brings them down to 3 defensive linemen.
2nd and 3 at the 25. Wilder will lose a yard. James Wilder is stopped by Tim Harris, and the Packer defense, Jerry Boyarsky, comes back into the game. Here's the rest of the offense for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They'll have James Wilder and Jeff Smith in the backfield. Mark Carrier and Bruce Hill are the wide receivers. The offensive line, number 1 pick Paul Gruber, Rick Mallory, Randy Grimes, Dan Turk, and Rob Taylor, and Ron Hall is the tight end. It'll be 3rd down and 3, no gain. Testaverde with the quick toss. He was going for Hill, overthrown, and covering on the play was Mark Lee.
Packers said they want to put a lot of pressure on Vinny early in this game, get him thinking about all the different looks he's going to see. They came with a couple of blitzes that time, and Vinny was off the target.
So it'll be 4th down. Ray Criswell, who's fighting for his job. He's had a rough week last week, and Norman Jefferson will be back to receive the punt. He had a rough week for the Packers. The ball gets by Jefferson inside the 30, and some hard hitting going on as Jefferson is down at about the 32-yard line by Mark Robinson. A 47-yard punt. Jefferson last week had lost 2 fumbles on kick returns.
And he touched that ball on the first bounce. That's why he had to go back and field it.
Randy Wright getting another chance. As Dan said, he won't get the quick hook today from his coach, Reuben Davis, Kurt Jarvis, and Ron Holmes up front for Tampa Bay. Murphy, Marv, Randall, and Moss are the linebackers. Secondary, Reynolds, Futrell at corner, Hamilton and Robinson the safeties. First down at the 33. Brent Fullwood finds a hole and brings it out to the 40-yard line, a gain of 7. Penalty marker down, and we're going to have a personal foul tacked on. Mark Robinson and Kevin Murphy made the stop. Jerry Seaman is our referee. It's against Tampa Bay.
We talked about mistakes earlier in this game. This is not a turnover, but this is just as good as a turnover. What it does is create
number 99 defense. First down.
What it does is it creates great field position for the Packers early, something they did not have at all last week when they played the Rams.
Eugene Marv, the guilty party on the penalty. So now the Packers already in Buccaneer territory at the 45, first down. 2 minutes gone by, first quarter. Packers have a chance here. couple of yards short of a first down. Mark Robinson and Bobby Futrell make the stop on Ken Davis. The rest of the Packer offense. Fullwood and Davis the backs. Walter Stanley and Sterling Sharp. Sharp the #1 draft pick. Wide receivers up front. Ken Rutgers back in action at left tackle. Rich Moran, Mark Cannon, Ron Hallstrom. Keith Euchre is the right tackle. And the tight end is Ed West. It'll be 2nd down and 3 for the Packers on the Buccaneer 38. They send Davis to the top of your screen wide. Brent Fullwood will not get the first down. He's about 1.5 yards short. As the Buccaneers closed on the run, Winston Moss made the tackle.
You know, 2nd and short, we're here in Lambeau Field. All I can think about is Bart Starr faking the ball to Jim Horning and throwing it up over the top to Max McGee. I guess things have changed here. Make that Paul Horning, Jim Taylor and Paul Horning. Either one, it worked really well for him.
I forgot his name too. You know, it's been a while since he's been out. 2nd down, 3rd down and 2 on the 37-yard line. 4 wide receivers for the Packers. Paul Caruth is the running back. Penalty marker down. Caruth will have the first down if it's against Tampa Bay. To the 33-yard line. Robinson, the strong safety on the stop for Tampa Bay, but there's a flag down. And it'll be against the Bucs, so the first down will stand.
Offside. Lining up in the neutral zone. Number 90 defense. First down.
That's really inexcusable. All the defensive end has to do is look down inside to see where the ball is. That time Ron Holmes must have just had his face mask in the neutral zone.
Well, he was thinking about the next movie he was going to review, as you saw in the NFL today. First down on the 32 for the Packers. They send Davis now to the bottom of your picture. They'll move him all the way around. Fullwood inside the 30, picks up a couple. Again, Mark Robinson, he's made a number of tackles thus far for Tampa Bay. 8 new starters for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers defensively from a year ago.
What we're seeing so far, Dick, is 3 or 4 running plays that have all been hitting up inside. The Packers feel that their offensive line can control the Buck defensive line. The Bucs gave up a lot of yardage last week to the Eagles right up the middle.
Packers are shuttling in wide receivers. Philip Epps is in there now, number 85. 2nd and 7 at the 29. Fullwood thrown for a loss by Ron Holmes. Well, he woke up in a hurry from that penalty. We mentioned at the top the Buccaneers have lost 9 straight games overall, but if you count the preseason, they've lost 13, and it is a baker's dozen. Last win was against the Packers.
Right here, too, and the thing that's not exactly the type of baker dozen you want. 13 is an unlucky number.
For some, although Jay Schrader wants to wear it for the Raiders at quarterback. 4 wide outs and 6 defensive backs. Caruth is the running back on 3rd and 10 at the 32. Randy Wright, and it's nearly intercepted. Epps was the intended receiver, and Bobby Futrell would have had clear sailing. So Randy Wright's first pass attempt is nothing to write home about.
Well, it was just off the target. He had his man open. He just kind of let him too far. Futrell really should have caught that ball, and if he had, we'd have a 6-0 game right now.
Don Bracken. Max Zendejas will try a field goal, 50-yard attempt to try to give the Packers a lead on 4th down. And the kick is good. The Green Bay Packers are on the board here in Lambeau Field.
We're not a company.
But we'll give you a chance to work where there's always a challenge.
We'll give you opportunities to learn, to develop.
To perfect skills that you thought were beyond your reach.
We'll help you build a career that can reward you for the rest of your life.
We're not a company.
We're your country.
We're the Army.
The Navy.
The Air Force.
The Marines.
We're the Armed Forces.
It's a great place to start.
AT&T has just made Watts a whole new ballgame for any size business. Pick from a lineup of plans that give you call detail, distance-sensitive pricing, and major league discounts, even on international and AT&T card calls. If you thought AT&T Watts had just one pitch, now it's a whole new ballgame.
This year, as the Olympic spirit burns proudly in your heart, why not wear this proudly on your chest? Michelob Light's free U.S. Olympic team pin. Visit this display for details.
For every man who wears Brute deodorant, there's a woman who'll always be glad that he did. Because a man who wears Brute deodorant is nice to be close to. Brute, it smells like a man.
Great.
There's the time remaining in the first quarter, and the Packers on Max Zendejas' longest field goal as a Packer, 50 yards, has given Green Bay the lead, and now Zendejas will be kicking off. Donnie Elder will go deep for Tampa Bay. He'll be flanked by Frank Pillow and Jeff Smith.
You know, Dick, the wind is starting to pick up a little bit. I got to believe that it gave that ball a little bit of a boost to get it over that crossbar. Didn't make it by much, but it counts as a 50-yarder.
That was the first field goal attempted by the Packers. Tampa Bay is also looking for their first. Kick heading over the same way. And at the one, it's Frank Pillow. And the 11th round pick from Tennessee State is brought down at the 16-yard line by Scott Stephen. Tampa Bay's problems, and Green Bay's too last week, poor field position, and it looks like the same problem is haunting Tampa Bay as you look at the Packers scoring drive.
Well, and 30 of those 36 yards came, or 20 came compliments of penalties. A 15-yarder on Eugene Marv for illegal roughness, and then the offsides by Holmes puts Tampa in a bad position again, down 3-0.
They're on the 16. Scores start rolling in from around the league. We'll keep a watch on those throughout the day. Jeff Smith. Stopped at the 19 by Blaze Winter. Winter starting in place of Sean Patterson, the rookie who has a hamstring problem.
It really creates a problem with the injury up front there. A couple of injuries to the Packer front line. They went into the game with 5 defensive linemen. Now they're down to 4. But the real ace in the hole that they have is Tim Harris, a outside linebacker that also can play defensive end, number 97.
Testaverde with a 2nd and 7 at the 19.
This one
This time Smith again, no gain, and it's Jerry Boyarski, the nose tackle. That'll set up a 3rd and long for the Buccaneers.
Boyarski's playing in a little pain. He jammed his thumb at practice on Friday, and Hank Bulla, his defensive coach, gave him 2 choices for today. He could either tape his thumb up or cut it off. Well, he taped it up. He's out there making good plays.
And of course, Hank Bulla always knows he can go to that 6 linebacker, 5 defensive back unit and not use any defensive lineman. 3rd down and 7 at the 19-yard line. 3 wide receivers for the Bucs. Testaverde's pass is caught. 1st down, Ron Hall, the tight end. And it's just short of the 30-yard line. Norman Jefferson on the stop, and a good throw by Vinny.
I'm not sure that this play was executed the way it's supposed to be, though, Dick. We had 2 receivers in the same area. Fortunately for Testaverde, Hall made a nice grab and got the necessary yardage with a little toe dance up the sideline.
Hall's done pretty well from a surfer from San Diego.
He's followed the sun. Hawaii, now Tampa.
He knows where to play. 1st and 10 at the 29 for the Buccaneers. That's their first down of the game. Testaverde stepping up, going for Hill, and Hill just out of bounds. Very close, defended by Mark Lee. So it'll be 2nd down as Testaverde tries to go long.
We'll take a look at just the end of this play. Fine throw by Testaverde. This is really his strength, is throwing the ball down the field. 1, 2, the second one's out of bounds.
Not by much, though.
Not by much, and it really sends a message to Mark Lee that he'd better be careful, because You give him Testaverde the chance, the time to throw. He can throw you deep and kill you.
What does Perkins want to do with Testaverde, basically a young quarterback? What's his plan with it?
Well, he said that, you know, he's struggling now, and he's going to struggle. Every young quarterback's got to do it. There's not too many that step into the league right now and set the league on fire, especially with a team that's in transition or a team that's rebuilding like the Bucs.
They may be reviewing this play, and we said it was very close. The play will stand. Here it is. It's the second foot.
The left foot is in, but he did not have control at that time. His right foot counted, but his left foot then was out of bounds.
And on that kind of replay, you don't always see that, whether the guy is bobbling it or not. Inconclusive. 2nd and 10 now at the 29. No score. 3-0, I should say, Packers. And here's Jeff Smith. Gets a hole and rambles out to the 35-yard line. And right now, for an NFL Today report, let's check in with Brent Musburger in New York. Brent?
Well, Dick, the Giants strike first against the 49ers in their big win at the Meadowlands after a Steve Young fumble. Sims to Manuel. Extra point is good. 7-0. Giants lead the Niners. Let's go back to Green Bay, and here's Dick Stockton.
All right, Brent. Good start for the Giants, who beat the Redskins last Monday. 3rd and 3 right here for the Buccaneers on the 35, their own. Testaverde completes it. Hill still going and nearly gets to midfield. In fact, he does. Mark Murphy knocks him out of bounds, but not before Hill and the Buccaneers have a 15-yard gain and a first down.
Testaverde came to the line of scrimmage, and nice little audible here. He hits Hill on the quick out, enough for the first down with the catch, but good athletic ability to dodge Mark Lee and get up the field for another couple of yards.
Bruce Hill had the best overall day of any NFL receiver last week. 8 catches, 157 yards, and a score. First down, Tampa Bay. They're at midfield. Jeff Smith for a couple of yards. Interesting that James Wilder, who's been their great ball carrier over the years, is kind of ignored thus far. Boyarsky and Witter combined on that play.
Wilder, a lot of people feel that he's lost a step or lost the desire. He's had a great camp. He's worked extremely hard. The coaches are very pleased with him. But you just never know with the running back when he loses it. You see all the great ones towards the end of their career, they start to lose that desire to get hit, and that's very understandable. But I believe that James Wilder and his teammates believe that he'll be back this year and really be a contributor.
Carried only 3 times last week. He's carried once for nothing so far here. 2nd and 7. Bucks on the Packer 47. For no gain at midfield. Tiger Green forced the play from the secondary.
And then there's times when you're just unlucky. Here they try to run a draw play against the blitz, and there's just not enough blockers for all the people coming in to tackle him.
Stephen Starring, who has activated the former New England Patriot, is in with Bruce Hill and Mark Carrier, 3 wide receivers for the Buccaneers on 3rd and 10.
We've got 2 down linemen in the game now and 5 linebackers. Not the backer defense yet, but I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see it real soon.
Testaverde getting a rush. And his pass is knocked down, and he might have gone over the line of scrimmage. We have an injured Packer, and Testaverde might have gone over the line of scrimmage before he threw the ball, and that would be a loss of down. Let's wait to see the official call. Meanwhile, a Packer is shaken up. Here's Jerry Seaman. Blaze Winter is the injured Packer. And they're working on it.
This is a very common mistake for a young quarterback that's trying to do too much. But if the Packers lose Blaze Winter, they are in big trouble.
Loss of down. Offense. 4th down.
He threw it about a yard beyond the line of scrimmage, and it'll be 4th down, and Testaverde will go to the sidelines, and Winter is still shaken up. What else can happen to the Packer defensive line? You know, they're already playing without Alfonso Carricker, normally a starter who's injured.
Sometimes necessity is the mother of invention, Dick, and Hank Buller, the defensive coach for the Packers, has invented a new defense. 6 linebackers, 5 defensive backs, and he's going to have to use it today because they're running out of defensive linemen.
Well, he's the kind of defensive coordinator that likes to do trickery anyway, doesn't he?
He is a very creative guy. Played against him for a number of years, and each time you play against a coach like that, you've got to spend more time in preparation during the week because you have no idea what crazy things he'll come up with and use against you on Sunday.
Winter appears to be all right. Walks off on his own power, and on 4th down, Ray Criswell will kick. First punt was much improved. There's Norman Jefferson going back for Green Bay.
He got a lot of roll in that first punt, Dick. It was not a great punt, but Jefferson did not field it on the fly, something that just drives defensive coaches crazy when that ball hits the ground.
Criswell, high kick. Fair catch called for by Jefferson. Crowd cheers it as he holds on to it. Hope he has a sense of humor. 34-yard punt to the 22-yard line with 6:02 remaining in the first quarter, and Max Sendejas 50-yarder has been the only scoring thus far.
Today's small cars are tougher than ever on oil. Their high-compression engines not only rev high, they can run hotter than regular small car engines. Their searing heat can begin to break down an oil immediately. That's why there's Castrol. Castrol provides maximum protection against viscosity and thermal breakdown. So use Castrol before your engine does something to get you heated up. Castrol, engineered for today's smaller cars.
Sundown, Luke! I'm calling you out! Luke!
Since 1896, some men have preferred to spend their nights in more rewarding pursuits.
Luke!
Shouldn't your night belong to Michelob Light?
Luke!
After flying so many aircraft, I'm not easily impressed with car performance. Then I drove the Cutlass Supreme pace car at the Indy 500. I was impressed.
In USAC tests, Cutlass Supreme out-cornered the BMW 325 and braked better than the Ford Thunderbird LX. And the Cutlass Supreme costs a whole lot less.
So I got 3 of them. Hey, I got 2 kids, boys.
And now get $1,000 direct from Oldsmobile when you buy a 1988 Cutlass Supreme by September 28th.
It's back! It's going! Going! Gone! That's out of here!
This and every sunset is brought to you by Michelob, proud sponsors of night games everywhere. Shouldn't your night belong to Michelob?
We're back at Lambeau Field in Green Bay. Dick Stockton and Dan Faust, as the Packers and the Buccaneers, who were both out of their respective games very early last week, both in it very much here. Randy Wright trying to get things straightened out. He's got Don Makowski waiting in the wings. And Lindy Infante says that you can't make the judgment yet on Wright because a lot of people missed assignments in the first game. We'll see what happens. First down, Green Bay on the 22-yard line. Toss to the outside to Davis. Hit immediately. Good defense by Tampa Bay. Mark Robinson made the stop after a gain of a couple. Some scores to report. The Bears lead the Colts 7-0 in the first quarter. Jim McMahon hit Dennis Gentry with a 35-yard scoring pass. The Redskins over the Steelers 7-3. Doug Williams hit Ricky Sanders 55-yard scoring play, and Morton Anderson's 41-yard field goal has given the Saints an early 3-0 lead over the Falcons. 2nd and 8 for the Pack on their 24. Close to first down yardage at the 31. Be very close, maybe short by a half a yard. Mark Robinson, the strong safety, makes the stop.
Both quarterbacks last week were hassled by great pass rushes. Today we're not seeing any pass rush from either team, and Randy Wright is starting to get his rhythm here. He does a nice job of finding the open man on this one, and Davis gives the Packers a lot out there both as a running back and as a guy that can split out wide. What they're trying to do is create some type of mismatch there.
3 tight ends, including the newest face, Clint Didier, for the Packers on 3rd and less than 1 at the 31. And the ball carrier is Brent Fullwood, and he leaps for the first down at the 34.
This is Ed Toolbox West, the second guy in from the top, number 86, and great job of blowing his man off the line of scrimmage, turning them out. But Fullwood really deserves a lot of credit for going airborne and getting that first down.
I thought you only do that stuff at the goal line. Meanwhile, Irvin Randall, who made the tackle and took the brunt of Fullwood's airborne flight, is shaken up on the play. And we'll take a timeout here at Lambeau Field.
After flying so many aircraft, I'm not easily impressed with car performance. Then I drove the Cutlass Supreme pace car at the Indy 500. I was impressed.
In USAC tests, Cutlass Supreme out-cornered the BMW 325 and brake better than the Ford Thunderbird LX. And the Cutlass Supreme costs a whole lot less.
So I got 3 of them. Hey, I got 2 kids, boys.
And now get $1,000 direct from Oldsmobile when you buy a 1988 Cutlass Supreme by September 28th.
Also would be a man, must be a nonconformist. A foolish consistency is the hobgoblin of little minds. To be great is to be misunderstood. There is a time in every man's education when he arrives at the conviction that envy is ignorance. Insist on yourself, never imitate. To believe that what is true for you in your private heart is true for all men. That is genius.
Ever feel like you're getting nickeled and dimed to death? Take my old gas station. If I use their credit card, $1 bought 96 cents worth of gas. For me, that 4 cents added up to about 50 bucks a year. So now I come here, Phillips 66. I get high detergent, super clean, unleaded gasoline for the same low price. Cash or credit. I give them $1, they give me $1's worth of gas.
Three-time defending champion Yvonne Lendl battles Swedish sensation Mats Wilander. It's the U.S. Open final on CBS Sports. Next.
There's Irvin Randall on the sideline. He's had to come out of the game.
According to Doug Graber, the defensive coordinator for the Bucs, he feels he's their best defensive player, so Bucs could be hurting now.
Johnny Holland, who best inside backer for Green Bay, he's not playing today at all. First down, Green Bay on their own 34. 4:48 to go in the first quarter. Fullwood gets to about the 37-yard line, picks up about 4. Kurt Jarvis and Kevin Murphy on the stop. The Atlanta Falcons have taken the lead over the Saints 7-3. Chris Miller, who's really a good young quarterback for the Falcons, had Ken Wisenhunt with a 12-yard scoring pass.
Chris Miller, former University of Oregon Duck. Thank you very much.
Van Brocklin, Berry,
Bob Berry,
Miller, and you.
We can throw it a little up there.
4 Ducks. And second down, 6 at the 38. Sure good. Randy Wright getting a rush. Gets it out to his tight end West, and West barely gets back to the line of scrimmage, if that. Mark Robinson makes his 5th tackle of the ball game. He has been a demon back there at safety for the Buccaneers.
Everybody remembers that he was the player that was traded for Steve DeBerg, and that trade type really surprised Mark, although he likes the idea of coming in with a young team and being part of a team that is going to turn it all around. He's confident that that'll happen here in Tampa.
Well, he gets a chance to start now, but he was starting to build a house in Kansas City when he was dealt. 3rd and 6 at the 38. Paul Otkaruth, the lone back. Running out of time. And Caruth, if he caught it, will just bring him back to the line of scrimmage. And apparently he did, and it's 4th down. Robert Goff. What happened to Wright with the mask? He had a problem.
Well, I think the problem is a big right hand coming inside there. It looks like a little face mask grab there, too. Robert Goff, who it's an interesting nickname. He prefers to be called Big. His older brother Reginald hung that one on him at an early age, but he likes it.
Don't know many people who want to be called the Pig. Anyway, Jeff Smith goes back for Tampa Bay. Don Bracken with a beauty. Fair catch, Smith into the sun, and he makes the catch at the 12. So the Buccaneers again start with poor field position following a 51-yarder as Randy Wright is still working on that right eye. Timeout, 2:25 remaining in the first quarter. A Green Bay field goal still the only point.
flying so many aircraft, I'm not easily impressed with car performance. Then I drove the Cutlass Supreme pace car at the Indy 500. I was impressed.
In USAC tests, Cutlass Supreme out-cornered the BMW 325 and brake better than the Ford Thunderbird LX. And Cutlass Supreme costs a whole lot less.
So I got 3 of them. Hey, I got 2 kids, boys.
And now get $1,000 direct from Oldsmobile when you buy a 1988 Cutlass Supreme by September 28th.
We're not a company, but we recognize potential. We develop it. We use it. We'll make sure that as your responsibility grows, so will you. As your ability for leadership grows, so will you. Working with us, you'll gain self-confidence, become a person with a future. We're not a company. We're your country. We're the Marines, the Army, the Navy, the Air Force. We're the Armed Forces. It's a great place to start.
More profound than words. Diamonds.
Here's Randy Wright, who took out his contact lens. You had a tough problem from Robert Goff here.
Well, Goff gets him with the right hand, and then he brings his knee right up to his jaw. Make it hard for quarterbacks today.
1st and 10 on the 13 for Tampa Bay. And Lars Tate, the rookie from Georgia, who is expected to play considerably today, is stopped by Burnell Dent. Tate is a runner, and a lot of the Southeastern Conference running backs like Fullwood from Auburn and Tate from Georgia are just runners. They haven't been so much trained as receivers or blockers.
There's so much that goes into being a running back in the NFL, not just carrying the ball. They got to be able to block. They got to be able to catch passes. They're all learning.
Picked up 3 on that play. 2nd and 7 on the 16. Vinny Testaverde. Tate again. Tim Harris, who does a lot of talking on the field now, talking to the crowd as he makes a big play.
You know, we talked about Lars Tate having to learn how to be a running back. Well, somebody's going to have to learn how to block people. Nobody blocked Tim Harris there, but he really loves to get fired up and talk to people out on the field. He said that he told us that he gets lost out on the field if he's not talking. He loses his concentration. He wants to get people jazzed up a little bit.
Well, he's got a future job somewhere. Buccaneers face a 3rd and 8, and last week they were inept on 3rd down. On the 15. Crowd really into it, and Testaverde calls a timeout. He got confused.
One of the things that confused him was the first time we've seen the backer defense. All 6 linebackers are in the game right now, 5 defensive backs. The problem that poses for the Bucs offense is who is rushing the passer and who's responsible for blocking them in passing situations. Another problem that the Bucs have not been able to shake so far in this game that plagued them last week is poor field position. Here they are backed up again inside their own 20.
Let me ask you this. If they've looked at the films and they are obviously more familiar with looking at films of the backer defense, why is he confused when it finally faces him?
Well, one of the problems is you'll see them all moving around, and even the center's a little confused here. Maybe the play that Vinny had called wasn't one that was designed to go against the backer defense.
That might have been it. Anyway, Testaverde back on the field. Vinny so far, as you mentioned, poor field position, has completed 3 of 6 for only 31 yards. Now it'll be 3rd and 8 on the 15. How about that? Green Bay has had a slight edge in field position. So the backer defense is on the field on 3rd and 8. Testaverde running. Intended for James Wilder. Tim Harris was down there defending. Norman Jefferson was closest to him, and it'll be 4th down.
Let's take a look at number 97. He had a few words for Vinny after he threw this ball away, but the Packers overload the left side, and Harris is just too much for Paul Gruber, the rookie. Good job of Vinny not forcing the ball there, though, and creating some type of turnover.
Fourth down, Criswell from the 3. Jefferson with the fair catch. And the ball will stop in Tampa Bay territory. It was down by Dan Turk, so if you're looking for field position following the 29-yard kick, Criswell is limping off the field. The Green Bay Packers are golden.
According to referee Jerry Seaman, this player is blocked into the punter. And looks like Mr. Harris again. He's all over the field. Also Tiger Green on the play, number 23.
Now all the Buccaneers are converging.
We have a personal foul penalty called against the Bucs now. A lot of mistakes early.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 20 kicking team. After the ball was dead, first down.
Odie Harris, rookie defensive back. That's the 4th penalty against the Buccaneers for a total of 40 yards. And that'll move the ball up to the 30-yard line.
Well, we'll take a look at O.B. Harris here. Taking a cheap shot at Norman Jefferson. Those aren't always detected.
Packers with a great opportunity here. They've been penalty-free, haven't they? 1st and 10 on the Tampa Bay 30-yard line. 3-0 Packers. 46 seconds to go first quarter. Fullwood. Dropped at the 30 by Kevin Murphy. There's the time remaining in the first quarter.
Good job by Murphy coming from the offside and running Fullwood down from behind. And the Packers, this is a great time for them to go up top. They've got Tampa a little bit thinking about all the mistakes they're making. They got to be a little bit down defensively. They had their backs to the wall for the most part of this first quarter.
And Randy Wright has hit 4 out of 5, including his last 4, but not for many yards. This could be the last play of the first quarter. 2nd and 10, Wright finds Fullwood. Fullwood to the 10. 5, he'll score. And no flags are down. Touchdown, Green Bay. Will try to make it 10-0 Packers as time has run out here in the first quarter. The punter Don Bracken will hold, and this crowd in a festive atmosphere here despite last week's misery. Different story now, and the Packers after 1 quarter lead it 10-0, and here's how.
The offensive line gives Randy Wright a lot of time to throw, and they opened up a huge hole on the left side of the protection. Wright steps up, and you could hear the fans saying, run, run, run. But yet he uses his head and gives the ball to a guy that really can run, Brent Fullwood. And Fullwood breaks the tackle there, gets into the end zone, and a great reaction by Randy Wright.
What a way to end a quarter here in Green Bay with the Pack up 10-0.
It's a place called Death Valley, where 10th-ranked Florida State will take on the 3rd-ranked Tigers of Clemson next Saturday on CBS Sports.
Hi, I'm Hugh Culverhouse, and this is the new Tampa Bay skyline. And there's a whole new spirit of winning here in Tampa, not just for the Buccaneers, but for the community. We've turned the corner. Today, our city is saying no to drugs. And people from every walk of life are joining me and our team members to walk hand in hand with our young people. The drug problem has been infiltrating every aspect of our society. But Americans have finally gotten the message and the commitment to be winners in this fight. I have grandchildren, and like all parents, I want a drug-free society. But them and all our children. I know the Buccaneers are going to be winners on the field, and the people of Tampa, they're going to be winners in their fight against drugs. United Way, it brings out the best in all of us.
This message furnished by the National Football League.
CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League is sponsored by U.S. Armed Forces. It's a great place to start. Bud Light, proud sponsor of the 1988 U.S. Olympic team. And by Oldsmobile, who invite you to test drive a new Oldsmobile soon at your nearest Oldsmobile dealer.
We're back here at Lambeau Field in Green Bay as we start the second quarter. Brent Fullwood savoring a 30-yard touchdown pass and run, and most of it was the run to give the Packers a 10-0 lead over the Buccaneers as we start the second quarter with a kickoff. Max Zendejas will be doing the booting, and Donnie Elder is deep for Tampa Bay. Short kick. Frank Pillow. Elder hasn't had a chance to return a kick so far. Pillow has been the man, and he brings it out to the 19-yard line. Best starting field position, believe it or not, for the Buccaneers, their own 19.
It appears they're going to mark it at the 24, Dick, and this is their best field position. First time they've been outside the 20. They've started on the 18, the 16, and the 12. Let's see what they get started here.
Yeah, 19 was kind of back deep to say good things about it. You're right. First down. Lars Tate and James Wilder are the setbacks for the Bucs. Testaverde going up top. And the pass was intended for Mark Carrier, and covering was Mark Lee on the play. Vinny Testaverde told us yesterday that he likes playing on the road because the people may be booing you, but he knows that they're rooting for the other club anyway.
I know exactly how he feels. Early in my career, I had some of my better days on the road. I mean, on the football field, of course.
Second and 10, and the flip to Tate. May not make it back to the line of scrimmage. John Dorsey and Tim Harris were there for the Packers.
You feel the momentum start to really pile up on the Packers side of the ball. They're doing just about everything right now. Vinny's got to be patient, though. He's only down 10-0, second quarter. He's been getting good pass protection. He's just not getting anybody open in the secondary.
Tim Harris, a big factor thus far. Now it's 3rd and 10. 3 wide receivers. Jeff Smith replaces Tate and the backer defense for Green Bay. Testaverde's pass, and nearly caught, and nearly a great catch by Carrier, who was open for the moment, and Mark Murphy put the sting on Carrier. It'll be 4th down, and coming in to kick will be Criswell.
When you're struggling, you need somebody to come up and make a big play. This is a very difficult catch for Carrier. But if the Bucs are going to turn things around, get positive things happening, he's got to make that catch.
Criswell will kick, and there's Norman Jefferson. Good kick by Criswell. Jefferson back to his 40. Good coverage by the Buccaneers as he's dropped at the 42. 36-yard kick. Odie Harris, who was guilty of the penalty before for Tampa Bay, made the stop. We're early here in the third quarter, and a penalty marker is down. Second quarter, that is. Flag down.
Ineligible downfield. Number 43 kicking team. Penalty decline. First down.
That was William Howard, and the Packers, with good field position on their own 41-yard line, decline the penalty. And a timeout here at Lambeau Field. We'll return.
No, Michael. I want it more Bud Light.
If you want the one light that outshines them all, ask for Bud Light.
Go, Jill. You're not Jill.
Oh, but I could be.
Bud Light, because everything else is just a light.
Jill!
A message from Drexel Burnham.
The investment banking firm of Drexel Burnham believes increased employee ownership can help revitalize American companies. Here is Don Little, leader of the Inland Boatmen's Union.
A year ago, WFI Industries in Seattle was deeply in debt. Its tugs and barges were in foreclosure, and shipbuilding had come to a halt. 1,000 jobs had already been lost, and 500 more were on the line. The situation seemed hopeless. Then our union asked Drexel Burnham for help. Drexel, as one of the biggest employee-owned companies in the world, understood our problem. They worked out an agreement which has given the employees 73% ownership and the opportunity to save our jobs. It would have never happened without Drexel. They did their part, and now as the new owners, we have the chance to do ours.
Drexel Burnham, financing America's future.
Story here of our game between the Bucks and the Packers. Randy Wright has hit his last 5 passes, including a touchdown to Fullwood and the starting field position, and that is always a big story. Green Bay has had a big edge there. Tampa Bay can't get out of their own end. It is 10-0 in favor of the Packers. 13:49 to go in the second quarter. 1st and 10 for Green Bay. They come out with 2 tight ends. Fullwood is the back. Fullwood dives back maybe to the line of scrimmage. Kurt Jarvis on the stop. Sidney Coleman, a rookie free agent from southern Mississippi, has replaced Irvin Randall, who was shaken up before. He's on the sidelines for the Bucks.
With the 2 tight ends, you would expect the Packers to want to run the ball a little bit more. They have the lead now, 10-0, but now they're probably considering running a little bit of time off the clock, although here comes Hackett out of the ball game to be replaced by Walter Stanley.
So 1 tight end and 2 wide receivers make it 3 with 1 in the slot. Epps is 85 to the lower part of the picture. 2nd and 10. Right. And he's going that way to Philip Epps. The pass is caught just short of midfield, shy of a first down by about 3.5 yards. Ricky Reynolds, the cornerback, and Murphy, the linebacker, on the stop.
You see the receivers are over with Lindy and Fonte. He calls his plays, Lindy does, by using wide receivers as the messengers, and the reason he does this is to create a lot of confusion on the defensive side of the ball as to just what the personnel is that's in the ball game and what does that personnel mean as far as run or pass.
Irvin Randall, latest report is that he has a strained shoulder, had been in briefly since he went out first. 4 wide receivers for the Packers on 3rd and 2, believe it or not, on their own 49. Fullwood fumbles, and in any event, the Packers won't have a first down, but the Buccaneers feel they have the ball, and they do. So the first turnover of the ball game, and the Buccaneers capitalize, and Chris Washington winds up with the ball on a Green Bay fumble by Fullwood.
This ball will just be ripped out of Fullwood's grasp here by number 97, Sean Lee. Really no excuse for that. Fumbles are really just a matter of concentration. Here you are, your number is called with 3rd and 2. You've got to make the play. You got to hang on to that ball. Not a lot of running room for Fullwood, but you got to at least hang on to the ball. This is the best field position Tampa's had all year.
Easily. Chris Washington did make the recovery. It's first down on the Green Bay 49 for the Bucks. James Wilder. Good running by Wilder to the 41-yard line. Ken Stills, the free safety, made the stop, and 9 yards on that carry by Wilder. 3 of their 4 possessions for the Buccaneers. They have punted 3 times. And their other possession, they went 9 plays before they kicked it away. There are scores around the league, and the Redskins are leading the Steelers 7-6. Anderson with a 24-yard field goal for Pittsburgh. Wilder has the first down for Tampa Bay. Burnell Dent on the tackle. So the deepest penetration right here for the Bucks, who trail the Packers 10-0.
One of the best things that can happen for Tampa right now is for James Wilder to really carry the load on this drive and get the Bucs into the end zone. He is still thought of by many players on that team as the main guy, the horse that they're going to ride today.
Despite the fact that he's coming off his least productive year in 6 seasons. 1st and 10 at the 38 for Tampa Bay. Testaverde nearly intercepted by Mark Lee. Pass was intended for Ron Hall, the tight end. That was a dangerous throw.
Again, a very similar pass as we saw earlier in the game, where you have 2 receivers in the same area. It appeared that Bruce Hill was breaking his route to the inside, and Ron Hall was on an out route, and they were both in the same area. But again, you got to believe that Mark Lee's got to make this catch. There you see the 2 receivers crossing, and Lee is right in the middle.
2nd and 10 at the Green Bay 38 for the Buccaneers. Testaverde gets a rush, and the pass is caught by Calvin McGee. Penalty marker is down, however. McGee is stopped at the 31 by Burnell Dent, but another penalty. They've been all against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers thus far in this game.
This one's going to be against the Packers, though. It's thrown in the secondary. Illegal use of the hands. That'll be an automatic first down.
That's a big one when you had a 3rd and 10 play that didn't get it. Testaverde is 4 for 11 right now. He's had missed his last 5 before McGee made that catch. And maybe he'll start to get some rhythm going, as Randy Wright had for the Packers.
The key to that will be pass protection.
Illegal use of hands, number 22 defense. First down.
It's Mark Lee, who nearly had an interception. So it'll be an automatic first down, of course, on the penalty, and the Buccaneers have a 1st and 10 on the Green Bay 33.
Mark Lee's having a little trouble with his hands. He drops an interception on one play, comes back and uses them illegally on the next.
He just wants to use those hands somewhere. Lars Tate, James Wilder in the backfield. Testaverde still 3 for 10. That one is no attempt. Tate brought back down by Robert Brown. Dent from the front, Brown from the back, and a gain of 1 on the play. Scores. Atlanta leading New Orleans 14-3 as Boyarsky, remember, he had the jammed thumb, and he's hurting right now.
And that appears to be his wrist now. This is a tough guy. Anybody that has to play nose tackle has got to play with a lot of little bangs and injuries. How can anybody with an arm that big get hurt there?
You tell me. That happens.
And again, another injury to the defensive line of the Packers. And again, they're going to go with the backer defense.
Jeff Smith replaces Lars Tate in the backfield for Tampa Bay. 2nd and 9. Testaverde. Wilder. Did he hold on? And apparently he did. And a fine catch by James Wilder. John Anderson makes the stop at the 27-yard line. A gain of 5. Great catch here.
Great catch and a fine play by Testaverde. He sees the blitz coming from the outside, and the one guy that's not covered is James Wilder, but that's an outstanding grab. And also he had the presence of mind to get up and crawl for another yard or so.
Well, they had Smith carry and Tate carry, and they said, let's go with the veteran Wilder, and it seems to have worked. 3rd and 4 at the 27. Testaverde and has Smith. Smith the first down and more. Down to the 5-yard line. Mark Murphy made the stop that may have prevented a touchdown, but a 22-yard pickup from Testaverde to Jeff Smith, and it's 1st and goal, Tampa Bay.
Notice on the left, Jeff Smith going in motion. He'll cut right underneath. Great throw by Testaverde, and now watch this block by Bruce Hill, giving Smith yardage down inside the 5.
What is Testaverde doing now that you see better than what he was doing earlier?
One of his real assets is he sees well in the pocket. He sees the entire field, knows where people are, knows where he wants to go with the ball.
1st and goal from the 5 for the Buccaneers. Penalty marker down. Smith gets to about the 3. Burnell Dent made the stop, but another flag. The Buccaneers are playing with in essence, 3 tight ends. Ron Hall, Calvin McGee, and Mark Cooper, a tackle also, in a tight end position, and it appears to be against Green Bay, and it is.
This is another one of those lining up in the neutral zone type of penalties against the defensive lineman.
Buccaneers trying to get back in this one.
Offside, lining up in the neutral zone, the nose guard, still first down.
You're right. So it's still a 1st and goal at the 2.
That new nose guard that lined up offsides was offensive lineman Tom Neville.
Yeah.
Can't really blame him, can you? Hasn't been over there much.
1st and goal at the 2. Tate close to the goal line and in for the touchdown. Lars Tate with his first NFL touchdown. 2nd-round draft pick this year out of Georgia. And the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are back in the game, trailing now 10-6. Tampa Bay taking advantage of a turnover, the fumble at midfield. And Lars Tate goes over for Tampa Bay. It is now a 10-6 game, and Donald Igwebuike out there to make it a 10-7 affair. Ray Criswell will hold for Tampa Bay with 9:20 remaining in the first half.
And the Bucs are missing an offensive lineman for this extra point. They have about 20 seconds to get it off. Should be no problem.
John Bruin, a rookie, who they think a lot of, has come in there. Igwebuike. He's perfect. And so the crowd quieted somewhat by the Buccaneers, who smartly took advantage of the turnover. Vinny Testaverde looked his best, and it's now a 10-7 game.
Bring on the city, bring on the night, bring on the highway, clear out of sight. Bring on excitement, yeah, riding Pontiac. Get on your Pontiac,
Fully revved, restyled, and ready to go. From America's Rapid Transit Authority, the dramatic new Grand Am.
Get on your Pontiac. We build excitement.
We're not a company, but no company has more pride in what they do, or more pride in how well they do it. We offer you a meaningful and fulfilling future, one that goes far beyond the ordinary, one that brings with it the respect and admiration of Americans everywhere. We're not a company, we're your country. We're the Air Force, the Marines, the Army, the Navy. We're the Armed Forces. It's a great place to start.
It's been a 4-year dream, and for one super athlete, the dream is worth its weight in gold.
There goes Spurs. Yeah. Watch him fly. Only going for
It's up and away. Then celebrate the American way with Bud Light.
Spuds and Bud Light. Now that's the American dream.
Expect the unexpected on an unpredictable hour of laughs, music, variety, and surprises on Live. Dick Clark Presents, premiering Wednesday on CBS.
Dick Stockton and Dan Fouts back at Lambeau Field in Green Bay on a marvelous afternoon, and the Packers leading the Buccaneers 10-7 as Tampa Bay just scored. Took advantage of a fumble and went 49 yards in 7 plays. Donald Igwebuike will kick off for the Buccaneers, and back Brent Fullwood and Norman Jefferson for Green Bay. Kick headed over toward Fullwood at the goal line. Fullwood with a head of steam into Tampa territory. And Igwebuike knocks him out of bounds on a brilliant return and a penalty marker down at midfield. 64-yard return, but a flag down.
We're going to have a personal foul penalty against the Packers. Actually, offsides. What it was is that Tiger Green broke the offside line on the kickoff and went after one of the Bucs, tried to slow him up.
offside on the kick. Number 23 receiving team.
You're right.
Re-kick.
Did you see
5-yard
Green
penalty.
then commit a personal foul after that?
Well, he did take a pretty good shot at the guy and up around his helmet area.
You guys don't like that kind of stuff.
Well, we have words for it. I tell you what, though, I know that Lindy Infante is going to be real upset with this offside. So how can you be offsides on a penalty, on a kickoff like this? What it really hurts is turns out to be about a 65-yard penalty against the Packers. Great return by Fullwood.
Well, he won't return this one. He's got to be exhausted. Sterling Sharp, the #1 pick out of South Carolina, has joined Norman Jefferson. Sharp is number 84 to the right. So all that great run by Fullwood, 64 yards, goes for naught. Kickoff sails into the end zone, and it'll be down there by Jefferson. And right now, for an NFL Today report, let's check in with Brent Musburger in New York. Brent, what do you have?
Well, Dick, after falling behind by 7 to the Giants, the 49ers have rallied now. Doug DeVos up over the top. They earlier kicked a field goal. So San Francisco leads New York. It's 10-7 right now. About 7 minutes to go until the half. Let's go back to Dick.
Well, maybe they'll decide it on a 48-yard field goal, as you had last night at South Bend in an exciting CFA college football game won by Notre Dame. 1st and 10 at the 20. That's the worst starting field position for the Packers with 8:59 to go in the first half. Keith Woodside is in the game for the first time, and he'll get the call. Woodside gets a couple. He is a rookie from Texas A&M. Lindy Infante had planned to use him last week, and he says he'll play this week for sure.
Is really the type of player that Lindy likes in that tailback position. He has the ability to be a runner, as he was on that play, but he also has the athletic ability to be a wide receiver type. And Lindy likes to call that being out in space, where he breaks out of the backfield in motion or lines up as a wide receiver.
2nd and 7 on the 23 for the Packers. They lead 10-7. Completes the pass to Walter Stanley. It'll be good enough for a first down at the 34. Bobby Futrell defending on the play.
Woodside was flanked outside of Stanley on that play, and they both ran simple hook patterns, and quarterback has to decide which guy's open. Right went to the right guy.
He's got a lot of right guys, actually. When you look at Philip Epps, who was a late holdout, and Walter Stanley, Perry Kemp, who played under Infante at Jacksonville and at Cleveland, and the rookie Sterling Sharp. And Wright has hit 7 in a row. He's got a first down on his own 34. Woodside, the up back, by the way, is Paul Otkaruth.